Hello and welcome to another episode of Just Jordan Things. Today, the thing is bullet journaling. I'm going to show you guys all about bullet journaling. Everything there is to know about how to get started, where it originated from, and how to do your own. We're also going to go into the difference it's made in my life and my journey of starting 6 years ago to what it looks like now. This is the perfect tool for anyone that struggles to focus on getting things done or that makes endless to-do lists for everything that you have to do. I first want to give a shout out to the subscriber that suggested I do a full tutorial and walkthrough of bullet journaling. Thank you so much for leaving me the suggestion, and please leave more for things that you would like to see me try or show you. I cover all kinds of topics on my channel, so I'm always excited to try something new with you guys or show you guys something that I know about. Wait a second, hold on. Okay, Google, turn on wall light. We forgot something critical. So on that note, make sure you're subscribed to my channel for more, like these videos, enjoy this content, and let's get started. So bullet journaling, what is it? The basic history of bullet journaling is that it was created in the 1990s by someone who had ADD who was having a hard time in school. It's really that simple. The reason it's called a bullet journal is because it's done on dot grid paper, but it really can be done in any journal. It's just a method of organizing your thoughts in a certain way and getting direct into the point of what you're looking to do. So what tools do you need to get started with bullet journaling? All you really need to get started is a journal and a pen. As soon as you dive into the world of bullet journaling, you will see that there are hundreds of products out there that you could explore. There's different types of paper, there's different sizes of journals. It is overwhelming, but don't worry. All you need to start is a pen and a book. Everything that we're going to talk about here today is linked in my Amazon storefront below in the description. And if you're not familiar with the Amazon affiliate program, it offers creators like me the ability to link products and then make a percentage of the sale if any of their viewers buy them. And it's not just the things on my storefront. So if you buy anything on Amazon off of my link, it's an easy way to support me or your favorite creators that have an affiliate store. I also have a book linked in my Amazon storefront under the bullet journaling section about bullet journaling. And that book is by the creator of the method, and it's actually what I use to get started. It goes over all of the foundations, the science behind things, and the intricacies of setting up and learning how to adapt it best for yourself. I'm going to show you how I interpret and learned and set up all of my journals through the years. So before we get into the deep dive of how to set up your bullet journal and how to get going, I want to emphasize that this is not something that you just pick up and run with. I want to help set your expectations of what it's going to look like in the beginning because it's a lot different than you would expect. There are tons of Instagram accounts and Pinterest pictures that you can use for inspiration of these beautifully laid out bullet journals with gorgeous artwork in them, but yours does not have to look like that, especially to start. The main purpose of bullet journaling is that you want it to be something that you are eager to pick up every single day and is attainable for you to continue using consistently. And you can completely customize it to whatever you want, which means you don't have to start at the beginning of the year like most other planners or agendas or journals. You could pick it up right now and get started, and it could last you a year and a half, 2 years, who knows? I've been doing this for 6 years now, and I have changed a lot of the way I look at and set up my bullet journals through that time. So I'm going to show you guys a little deep dive into where I started and where I'm at now and what I really like about it. And then we're going to do an overview of how to set up your own. Now, I know you're going to have a lot of questions, so let's dive into what a bullet journal is for exactly. The main purpose of a bullet journal is to keep track of daily habits, to-do lists, and things that you want to do. As you can see here, this is how I've set up my weekly spread. There are tons of different ways that you can set this up, but this is the method that I've found to be the most helpful. So let's dive into what it looks like inside a bullet journal. A bullet journal is meant to help keep track of everything that you want in one easy to access place. I've seen people use this as a place to keep track of passwords, birthdays, daily habits and feelings. It is everything inside your brain out on a piece of paper. You can use this book here as inspiration, but please do not copy it exactly. It's not going to help what you need. You have to determine what you want in your own way. I have my goals for throughout the year, the books that I've read, and the dates that I finished them. I also have a date night tracker so that we can make sure that we're going on at least one date a month. Dozer, no, sir, you're not in the video. You can set up trackers to keep track of your savings or paying off debt. I like to leave a lot of blank spaces in the beginning because adding extra pages here is always helpful. This is where I keep track of how many times I am hanging out with my friends because I want to maintain those friendships and make sure that I'm seeing them on a consistent basis, which is hard to do if you're an adult. So you really can customize this to whatever you need it to be. Now that we've made it out of the beginning section, I want to dive into the monthly sections. This is where we really start to break down this into tactile to-do lists. The main components of a bullet journal are the spreads. So this is what's called a monthly spread, a brief overview of everything that's going on within that month that you can glance at. For my monthly overviews, I don't normally go back to them a lot. So this is kind of the extent that I put in them. If there's any specific birthdays or dates or travel that we wanted to keep track of, I'm putting them here. Then this is a version of my weekly spread where I'm keeping track of different habits up here, to-do lists for the week, and then specific things that are happening in the day. Now let's take a look at how this compares to when I first started. So this is my first bullet journal. And I bought the wrong size journal at first because I was overly ambitious of how much page I was going to fill. There is no wrong size journal, but this was incredibly difficult to fill up and keep track of, especially because I'm not generally artistic. I also used the wrong pens in the beginning and I hated it, but it works. So this is what I was tracking back in 2018. I was tracking off my debt payoff. I was tracking my books to read. As you can see, I didn't really keep up with it past the first month. Then we have payment dates for all of my credit cards and expenses. And then I started filling it with pages about things that made me happy. And as you can see, because I write so tiny, I didn't get to actually filling up the whole page. And I never came back to this. But it is nice to have that mental health part of the bullet journal, which brings me into part 2, journaling. One of the best parts about bullet journaling is the ability to keep all of your brain thoughts in one spot. I don't think I actually even journaled in my first version of a bullet journal. I just used it to keep track of things. Being able to look back at what I was feeling and get introspective about processing emotions is probably one of the most important things about bullet journaling and journaling in general. You can use your bullet journal for whatever you want, but I definitely encourage you to put your emotions and feelings down on paper so you can process them and get them out of your head. That's the biggest thing. So you don't feel like you have to keep repeating them over and over and over in your mind so you don't forget them. This is a safe place where you can express and wonder and process everything going on in your brain without the need of doing it in your head. I like to go back and read my journals every couple years just to see the progress that I've made. And honestly, this is a great page where I was trying to figure out where I wanted to go. I was coming off of a breakup and I was hyper focused on work. And it's really good to look back at this and see I am a completely different person. Now, with work, you can also include work in your bullet journal. You don't have to have a separate bullet journal for work and for personal. The pages within your journal are an open book, literally. So you can use them for whatever you want in the middle. As you can see, this is page 53 and 54, and I did a budget breakdown in March. And then I did a brainstorm of what I was doing at my job at that time. Some journals come with an index where you can put all of this information. So now let's take a look at some of the different setups you can do for monthly spreads. Here was my minimalist December view. Here was my January, listing down the side and also setting up a vision board next to it. Here was April, where we got a little crazy. It was a very busy month apparently. And this is when I started introducing the looking forward of what's happening in the next month, which I really like and use today in my journals as well. Here's an example of a weekly spread that takes up 2 pages and is a little aggressive, but I was tracking how many times I was taking my antibiotic and making sure that I completed it. You can see I have a version of my habits here that I was trying to track on a daily basis and including things like inspirational quotes and washi tape. There are 1,001 different prompts and inspiration pictures on Pinterest for what you can do in your journal. All of those things are tools to set up your own journal in the way that you like it. And I encourage you to try all of them. Don't just stick to one until you figure out the one that really works and you can stay consistent with. This was the 3rd year that I did bullet journaling, and you can see I didn't even fill up the entire book. I do like to try as much as I can, but there's only so much you can do. But looking back on this, it's such a introspection into who I was, what was going on, what I was feeling, what I was thinking, and the different moods and transitions I had as I grew over this year. Now, let's look at how it's transformed. This is 3 years worth of me doing a yearly spread, keeping track of different birthdays and events that were happening through the year. I still really like this method and use it today. But of course, as the years have gone on, you can see I've gotten a little less fancy. 2021 was a great year for getting really artsy fartsy, but I didn't keep that through the entire journal. Mostly I've started sticking to using different colored pens to be able to create that colorful feel instead of using intricate drawings and coloring things in. 2022 is when I learned this style of weekly spread, and I think this is the one that has helped me the most track what I want to do. This habit tracker up here, where I pick 5 things that I want to really hone in on every single week, as well as this easy to digest spread of events and the to-do list. I no longer keep the meditation tracker or the mood energy tracker just because it takes too long to set up my journal, so I don't do it anymore. Probably one of the most important things that I've learned about bullet journaling is that it's going to help you get over your perfectionism. Crossing things out, moving things around, picking up a different pen, that's all part of the process, and honestly, I think it's what makes it more pretty and relatable. After 6 years of doing this, I tried to make sure I was using the same colored pens, making sure I was using the same color highlighters all the time, and it just looks so hard to read. I do like adding cute things here and there, but if things get messed up or smudged or moved around, it's not a big deal to me anymore. You will have that urge to want to start all over if you mess a page up, but don't worry, you can just keep going. Although I would recommend finding pens that don't bleed through. Excuse me, sir. That's my chair. I need to sit down there so I can get more work done. Now we're gonna get to the good part. I'm going to show you exactly how to set up a bullet journal. So of course, you're going to set up your bullet journal in whatever way makes you feel happy, but you can use this as a guide. I always like to start with the yearly overview. That's the first thing that you're going to put in your journal. Put any important dates in here, birthdays you want to remember, anniversaries, and holidays or days off that you have. Then I always like to have a page for my yearly or monthly goals. You can do this as a 1-pager, or you can do a 6-3-4 method, I think it's called, where you do in 6 months from now, in 3 months from now, and 4 weeks from now. And you reassess those goals as you go through the year. Then comes to trackers. If you want to track any habits, if you want to track your books you're reading, any spending, your date nights, your travel, anything that you want to track, this is where you put it. If there's anything in your business that you want to track as far as revenue or spending, you can put this in there as well. I always like to leave a couple pages extra because midway through the year, it never fails that I want to add some new tracker. Having blank pages is not a bad thing. After you've laid all of that out, what I like to do to get started is kind of write down my plan for each page before I start diving into designing it. That way, if I need to reorganize things or want to go back, I can. And then from there, you're going to go into your monthly spread. Your monthly spread is going to have all the calendar days in that month, and then anything that you want to track on the other side. I like to track specific goals for that month, anything that there is to do, upcoming appointments that I have, if there's any events, birthdays, or places that I'm going. I also include a section that says next month that kind of overviews what's going on in the next month as well, if there's anything big as far as travel, appointments, etc. Then comes the fun part, your weekly view. There is an option to do a weekly or daily view, but I have found that weekly is much easier for me to manage because I cannot consistently do a daily spread. One day I'd have to do it on a Tuesday instead of a Monday. That's a lot better than if I just completely miss a day altogether. Then in between each weekly spread, I like to have my journaling days. So my journal entries are bookmarked by each week. It helps me get a perspective as I look back as to what was going on in that time. Was there a specific event that happened that caused these emotions or feelings? Were we traveling somewhere and I was super excited about it? Similarly, was I keeping up with all of my habits? Was I meditating? Was I doing my exercise? Those are really helpful for me to track and understand what's going on in my life. From there, you're just gonna take your bullet journal in whatever direction it wants you to go. Try new things. Explore with doodling. Get a new pen. It is so much fun to just play around, and this is your space to just have fun and make mistakes. I would recommend getting a journal that is small enough to carry around with you in your purse or backpack, so when you travel, you're more likely to bring it with you. And remember, it is so important to set it up in a way that's going to be sustainable so that you're actually going to want to use it on a consistent basis. That's the only way you're gonna have a significant impact from bullet journaling. One of the key benefits of writing everything down and getting really invested in the intricacies of setting up your weekly and monthly spreads is that you're more likely to retain the information that you're putting there, and you're more invested in continuing to do it. Drawing little doodles or writing down your emotions is all very helpful in learning how to process your emotions and figure out how to take your brain down from that heightened emotion we're always in when we're scrolling on the internet, watching TV, or watching YouTube videos. And ultimately, if it's too hard to keep up with, you won't do it. So set yourself up successfully. Sir. Oh my. All right, let's talk pens really fast because this is my favorite part about bullet journaling. The Mildliner. This is the best non-bleed highlighter that you're gonna find out there. Love it, tried and true. There's a bunch of other brands that are similar to this, but it comes with two different ends. So one side is flat like that and the other is round. They come in all sorts of pretty colors. This is the G2 gel pen, and I like really, really fine points on my pen. This is the smoothest one that I've found, and I really like it. And it dries quickly, which is key. This guy is a felt tip drawing pen in a 0.3. I like to get 0.05 and 0.1 to make my outlines with. It's all going to be a preference for you, but finding some marker like this that doesn't bleed through will be really fun to set up all of your pages. All right, let's go back into May 2021 and see what I was feeling and thinking, because this is what bullet journaling really is about. What was younger Jordan really thinking? Hello, my name is Jordan and I am tired as blank. Today was the first day back to work after vacation, and oh my God, did I need one more day off of rest in between. My mom left this morning, and I am so thankful she stayed another day because the puppy has been an energy drain. Okay, now vacation recap. It was amazing. So much fun traveling to another country. Grant and I had a great time together, and besides losing my debit card on the first day because I forgot to get it out of the ATM when I was done, and dropping my phone in a 45-foot deep cenote cave system, and almost losing it too, it was perfect. A well-deserved, much-needed break from work and real life. I spent way too much money, but hey, that's what vacation is for, right? Grant is such a sweetheart and didn't get mad at any of my stupidity. He is such a patient man. And we had an absolutely fantastic time with as much romance as I could have ever hoped and dreamed for out of a boyfriend. It was very nice to see that we have the same kind of sense of adventure, go with the flow style. I already knew that, but going on vacation together helps a lot. I love him so much and forget sometimes how short of a time it's been since we met. This man has been in my life for less than a year and already brought more into it than anyone else combined. I feel loved by him for the first time, and it is such a great feeling to not feel like a burden to someone. And on that note, I will leave you with your own bullet journaling adventures. I hope that you guys find as much joy in bullet journaling as I do, and have fun looking back on all of the things that happened throughout the years. If you kept a diary as a kid, this is the best way to transition into a more adult style that doesn't look so tempting to the people around you. It just looks like you're keeping track of your daily habits, but all of your brain thoughts are in one place. Thank you guys for being here, and don't forget to leave a comment for what you want to see next. I'll see you guys next time. Bye, everybody.